If it wasn't for her son, she wouldn't have even ended up in this guardianship. It seems like the son is actually not too far from the dad. Kevin was making transactions over $100,000, and that alerted Wells Fargo.
Wendy Williams' own son, Kevin Jr., is the reason why she's locked up in a luxury prison. He tried to convince her that he would be the best person to take care of her. Once he got her down to Florida, he trapped her and stole her phone and her credit cards. Kevin decided to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars of her money without her permission. That led to the banks trying to reach out to Wendy to ask her what's going on, but he had stolen her phone, so they couldn't reach her. This all led to her being locked up in a guardianship, and it's all Kevin Jr.'s fault. So let's get into it. Sometimes the people who end up ruining your life are your own family. And that's exactly what happened with Wendy Williams, because her own son turned on her, and that's why she's now locked up in a guardianship. Right now, TMZ has been doing an investigation into Wendy's guardianship, and there is light at the end of the tunnel that she may be able to get freed, but we have to figure out how she got here in the first place. Because it turns out that it's less likely that she's mentally incompetent and more likely that her son is a snake who has been stealing her fortune. This article reads, Wendy Williams is going to Miami this weekend to celebrate her dad's 94th birthday. Thank God, because she was so upset over the idea that she wouldn't be able to attend. It's the first time that she's been able to socialize in many, many months, and she'll be spending time with her son, who I personally have beef with right now. Harvey from TMZ actually asked Wendy, would it be awkward seeing your son? Because now you know what he had done to you. Wendy talks about the mishandling of her money in TMZ's new documentary, Saving Wendy. She says her guardianship was launched after her bank, Wells Fargo, noticed that her son was spending her money, and when they tried to reach out to her, he hid her phone. I mean, picture this. Wendy is not doing well, and the only person in her life that she feels like could take care of her is her son. So she goes down to Miami to spend time with him, and during that time, he steals her phone, spends a bunch of her money, so that when the bank realizes that someone is stealing her funds, they cannot contact her, which is why she was put in a high-risk situation and put into a guardianship with this woman, Sabrina, who now controls her fortune.
If it wasn't for her son, she wouldn't have even ended up in this guardianship. It seems like the son is actually not too far from the dad. Kevin was making transactions over $100,000, and that alerted Wells Fargo. And because they couldn't get a hold of Wendy, they became concerned and ended up getting a guardianship over her financials. And then it went from financial to them having guardianship over her completely. And Sabrina is the guardian.
I'm just relieved that we're finally getting pieces of the puzzle and we can put it together. This comment reads, I think Lil Kev triggered it by using large amounts of money. Quote, apple never falls far from the tree. Kevin is just like his dad. Another comment reads, the son also hid her phone and that's why the bank couldn't reach her. And then finally, if you watched it, she also said someone is pretending to be her when contacting the bank, which was the last straw. It's not just her son, but people around him. And I could totally see this world where Kevin Jr., I mean, he's clearly morally corrupt or something. I mean, stealing from your own mother. I could see him using his friends, maybe a lady friend, to go and pose as Wendy on the phone. How sick can you be? The guardianship seemed to side with Wendy. TMZ has court documents in which the judge said back in September that her son, Kevin, apologized for his past mistakes and inappropriate behavior. A little too late. The court is not convinced that he can keep her safe and wouldn't willingly or unwittingly expose her to financial exploitation. So even the judge had reviewed the transactions and realized that Wendy can't even trust her own son. Imagine this, you've been in an accident or someone you love has been seriously hurt. Suddenly you're facing a mountain of medical bills, paperwork, and insurance companies that don't want to pay what you deserve. Now, what if I told you there was a simple solution to this nightmare? Getting compensation when you are entitled to can be tricky, with many personal injury firms giving you the runaround, drowning you in paperwork and settling for less than what you deserve. But it doesn't have to be that way. This is where Morgan & Morgan steps walks in. As America's largest injury firm, they've modernized the entire process. With over 1,000 attorneys across all 50 states, they have the resources to take on big insurance companies and give you the money you deserve. And trust me, they don't settle for low-ball offers. Just this year, they secured a $26 million settlement in Philadelphia, 40 times more than the highest insurance offer. And there are plenty more stories like that. You could just fill out a simple form in minutes. No appointments, no complicated paperwork. Everything is done from your phone. Plus, it's totally free unless you win. Morgan & Morgan makes the process easy and stress-free. You can head over to forthepeople.com/Sloan. You can also find that link in the description below to get started. Remember, the process is free unless you win. Thank you, Morgan & Morgan, for sponsoring this video, and enjoy. The documentary showcases Wendy's life in an assisted living facility in which she's confined to a room on the 5th floor. She rarely gets fresh air, she has no internet, and virtually no one can call or visit her. She feels like a prisoner. Here's a clip of Wendy talking a little bit about what it's like to live in there.
Williams claims she's being confined to one area and has barely been outdoors.
In the last 30 days, I went out twice for my teeth, you know what I'm saying? And that would be that.
What is it like?
Isolated, you know. Well, you see where I am, right? Where I am is this place where the people are old.
It looks so sad. It does look like a prison. Seriously.
Older, you know what I'm saying? They are in their 90s and their 80s. They call this the memory unit. I am part of the memory unit. A memory unit, in other words, what? Somebody who doesn't remember crap? Are you serious? This is my life. You know what I'm saying? The memory unit is suffocating. I mean, like, I eat lunch and dinner in my bedroom. I don't eat out there with the people that live here just because it's so goddamn depressing.
She won't even go and eat with the fellow people in this facility. And I don't think Wendy thinks that she's above them. I think she realizes that she does not fit in there. And when she starts, like, you know, becoming part of the general population, she probably would digress as a person. And I'm just thankful that she has the ability to speak out now. It reminds me of Britney Spears and how she was confined in these places, but she didn't have this direct contact or this window to go to talk to TMZ through.
Excuse me, where I am, okay, you have to get keys to unlock the door to press the elevator to go downstairs, first of all. Second of all, these people here, everybody is like nursemaids, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
So it's like, I mean, I could totally see, like, Wendy feeling like she is sick because she's in an environment that is made for sick people. I mean, at that point, it's kind of like manifesting it.
They come in and they give your pills, you know what I'm saying? And then they leave. And I'm
Which
like,
I told you not to take. I told you don't take them pills.
You know it's bad when Charlamagne the God is telling you not to take your medication. But what's great about Wendy's press tour at the moment is that it's got people questioning whether Wendy should in fact be in this guardianship. And we're paying a little bit more to the probate court system, a court system that's put a lot of vulnerable people in really bad positions.
Charlamagne the God is revealing that he had a phone call with Wendy Williams over the holidays and says based on his conversation, Wendy Williams could easily return to radio.
She seemed perfectly fine to me. Like, Wendy sounded like she could do radio tomorrow if she wanted to.
You reached out to her. She reached out to you. How did that happen? Oh, she called you.
Yeah, and I don't know what incapacitated means in regards to dementia or whatever it is they say she was dealing with. But no, there ain't nothing incapacitated about Wendy Williams.
How was her energy?
She sound like Wendy Williams.
So Wendy's doing everything she can to get out of this guardianship. She's firing lawyers. She's going back to the doctors. She's going to get reevaluated by doctors who said that she had dementia. So now we're going to see what they have to say. I mean, that specific condition, frontotemporal dementia, that doesn't go away. It typically gets worse. So if she's improved, then maybe she didn't have dementia. Maybe it was like, you know, dementia caused by the amount of drugs that you're injecting her or feeding her with. Which leads us to Wendy's recent signature. She gave an autograph to a court document to end the guardianship. I would be so happy to sign that piece of paper. It looks like Wendy signed an affidavit Wednesday afternoon asking a judge to set her free. Sources with direct knowledge say that Wendy signed the affidavit and sent it to the judge. According to the affidavit, Wendy has regained capacity to function without a guardian. Wendy also says an affidavit, she does not have frontotemporal dementia, despite what doctors have claimed. I mean, if you look at that old documentary of Wendy from Lifetime, she seems much better now than she did back then. Maybe it was like some alcoholism-induced dementia. Or like maybe she was just drunk. I mean, she has an issue with addiction. We saw her drinking a ton in the Lifetime documentary. Maybe it's not dementia. Maybe your girl is just drunk.
And right now, A&E Network, A&E Network and Lifetime were sued by Sabrina. She claimed...
Now, keep in mind, Sabrina is the guardian who's, for whatever reason, trying to keep Wendy in this conservatorship. Like, everyone wants her out except for Sabrina.
They exploited you in a vulnerable state. They exploited your condition, and I'm putting condition in air quotes. You signed to do that documentary without your consent, but A&E and Lifetime countersued and said that Sabrina realized the documentary would question the quality of her own guardianship.
From my understanding, the documentary paperwork was actually signed before Wendy was in a guardianship.
It actually says in the lawsuit, it appears that Morrissey is misusing her position as a guardian of Williams to silence criticism of her controversial and failed administration of the guardianship. They even used the words guardianship abuse. What do you think of that?
Well, first of all, you know, me and the person that you were just talking about.
Also, that is so true, because Sabrina, I don't think she cares about the best interest of her client. She's more worried about being a laughingstock within her own industry.
Guardian person. We watched that 4-part thing on TV together. She was the one who wanted to do that. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I'm watching and writing things down, and she's watching and writing things down, and I saw her. I saw all of that, by the way. And what do I think about being abused? Listen, look. This system is broken. You know, that this system that I'm in, you know, this system is so broken. I mean, we've seen Bam Margera, we've seen Michelle Nichols, the Star Trek, I believe, Britney Spears, now Wendy Williams. It has falsified, a lot. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
They said you're cognitively impaired and you're incapacitated.
Do I seem that way?
Now, some good news is that Wendy isn't going to the same doctors who initially diagnosed her with dementia. It turns out her new attorney is going to hook her up with a new doctor, which I think is key, because especially in the probate court system, a lot of times they have deals with these doctors. So they can get a doctor to go and say that someone is a flight risk, that they need a guardianship, and then the judge will just take the doctor's word. If the judge turns down Wendy's request to end the guardianship, we're told that Wendy will demand a jury trial where jurors will decide if Wendy has regained her capacity to run her own life without guardian control. And if we got that, I mean, the entire probate court system will blow up, because imagine Wendy sitting in that chair telling that jury exactly what she had been put through. So the Free Wendy Williams movement isn't slowing down anytime soon. So make sure you follow me for more. Shame on you, Kevin Jr., for going and putting your mother in this position. I cannot handle these spoiled children who spends $100,000 on a yacht. He actually charged his mother's card $100,000 for a yacht party and did not tell her. I mean, what a sicko. Oh, he's on my bad list now, but I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. I am back in my studio, back in Los Angeles, and ready to roll. So let's get into it. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.